as former FBI Director James Comey starts a media tour to promote his new book. The White House is working to discredit the former top law enforcement officer. For more on this, we go to our esteemed panel, Kristen Tate, as a conservative columnist and author of How Do I Tax Thee? And David Tafuri, a former Obama campaign foreign policy advisor and former State Department official. Thank you both for joining me. David, I hope I got your last name correct.
You got it right. Thank you.
Okay, good. First and foremost, I want to start with you, Kristen. Your take. Do you feel like this is pageantry ahead of a book tour?
Yeah, James Comey has proven himself to be nothing more than a fired anti-Trump hack and an admitted leaker. He says in his book that Trump is a liar and compares him to a mob boss. He also says that he made investigation decisions in favor of Hillary Clinton because he thought that she was going to win the election. James Comey was the nation's top law enforcement official, and he has completely tarnished the reputation of the FBI to peddle this pathetic book. Half of the country voted for Donald Trump, and that half of the country now has zero trust in the top law enforcement bureau of the nation. Look at Comey, look at Rosenstein, look at McCabe. The FBI is supposed to be nonpartisan, so shame on Comey. This is disgusting.
All right, David, I don't think I have to prompt you for a reply. I assume that you feel quite differently.
Yeah, well, those are very partisan words from Kristen. It's unfortunate that she would paint the former FBI director that way. It's not accurate. But to be fair, I think that James Comey probably should not have done this book right now.
Why not?
He has a story to tell, and it's important that he tell the story eventually. But I don't like the fact that this. I worry that the story.
What is the story? Because a lot of it I'm hearing about, like, conversations and size of hands. I mean, what is his story? Well, what is he trying to tell us?
Yeah, those are distractions. The main part of the most important part of this story is that James Comey was an FBI director. He was doing his job impartially. He was fired by President Trump. President Trump said a week later on NBC the reason he fired James Comey was to get rid of the Russia investigation. So there's potentially evidence of obstruction in James Comey's story. And the reason I don't think James Comey should be telling this story right now is because he's a witness. And the most important thing is for the Mueller special counsel investigation to go forward in an impartial way, unobstructed. And people like James Comey should tell their story after that is finished. There's no ending to the story right now. We don't know what's going to happen. It would have been a better story by James Comey if we knew what was going to happen with the special counsel investigation.
All right, Kristen, I want to bring you in, and I want to sort of wrap in the RNC response and the hashtag Lion Comey in this campaign that's going on, because some are saying, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because it's like, who can get lower at this point? Because now we're putting these names on everyone, and I'm sort of curious, is this productive?
Look, I think that the White House's response is accurate. They're saying what everyone is thinking. Of course, the D.C. swamp doesn't like it because they like to lie and smile, but that's not how Donald Trump operates. And David says that I'm being partisan. Guess what? James Comey is the one who has made this into a partisan issue. He is the one who is politicizing this.
Kristen,
it is completely
James
out of
Comey,
line.
James Comey was a Republican.
He was a Republican,
and he was appointed by President Bush.
Hold on, David, let me finish. Let me finish. I do agree with you that it is totally unusual for a book to come out this early from somebody who is so involved in an investigation into the president. John Dean, who was the former White House counsel under Nixon, whose testimony was paramount in bringing down the Nixon administration, turned down 7 figures to write a book and waited until the scandal died down. And then, of course, Monica Lewinsky waited to tell her story until the impeachment trial against Bill Clinton was done.
I'm going to make a really awkward turn here. We don't have a lot of time, but I want to get a response from both of you, because obviously the news of the day is Syria. So, David, I want to start with you, get your reaction, and also the fact that the White House had a coalition behind them when they did make these attacks.
It's always better when you have a coalition behind you, and President Trump was right to highlight the participation of the UK and France. I'm glad he did these strikes. They were very much needed. We need to create more deterrence to Assad's violence towards his own people. We did strikes, as you know, a year ago. Those were great, too. The problem is there wasn't engagement afterwards, and what I want to see is more engagement by the U.S. in Syria. It can't just be, we're going to strike you once after you use chemical weapons, and then we're going to ignore you for a while, because the violence will continue, and Assad will use other forms of violence against his people. We need to use this deterrent more strongly in order to push for a political resolution in Syria.
Okay, Kristen, you have 15 seconds.
Donald Trump ran on America first, but it seems like the swamp has drained him. I'm just wondering, how many nations do we need to police and rebuild with our own servicemen to the tune of billions of dollars? We have enough problems at home. Me and a lot of other Trump supporters, we want to bring our troops home and end this.
Wow, interesting. All right. Kristen, David, thank you so much. We sort of tackled a lot in that segment, so thank you both for bearing with me. I very much appreciate it.